Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Selfish Woman. We're here. It's December. If you are listening to this in December 2025, when this episode is coming out, it is the end of the year, guys. And I'm excited to chat with you about all things ending 2025, looking forward into 2026. And also, something exciting that I've decided to do that's different here on the podcast is I'm recording my solo episodes on YouTube now because it feels more personal. I like watching podcast episodes on YouTube. I put it in the background while I'm cooking or, cleaning house. I really enjoy just that deeper level of connection, that visual connection. And I love that too. So, go to YouTube and I will put the link in the notes and subscribe and join me over there as well. And it's a great place also to have a discussion. You can comment. If you are not on YouTube, I'll set you up here. I've got my candle lit. This is my altar candle that I have on my altar that I light every morning when I meditate and journal and connect to source. And then I've got, of course, my beautiful book back here, The Selfish Year. She's so pretty. I've lit some incense. It's a whole vibe over here. And join me in the vibe. So that's the scene, right? Now, I was thinking about what I wanted to talk to you about today because last week I talked about the year of the snake, 2025, which is the shedding year. We are releasing, we are letting go. 2026 is the year of the fire horse. What is that calling us into? If you haven't listened to that episode yet, make sure you go and listen because it's going to give you so much information on what to be looking for this month specifically, the end of 2025, about what needs to be released. What are you shedding so that you can enter into 2026 free, open, unencumbered, and starting to create magic in a whole new vibe, whole new energy. It's going to be a powerful year. I'm already feeling excited, but we're still in December, right? So, yeah, I thought let's get cozy. I actually have a pot of soup on the stove. I'm making vegetable soup. I make it every Monday, and then that's my lunch for the whole week, which works so well for me because working from home, it's just so hard to eat healthy when I'm busy. I don't have time. I end up grabbing crap or I just don't eat. So, I figured out my hack is to make a big pot of soup every Monday, and then I just heat it up and I eat healthy. It sustains me. So I've got that going on the stove. I've got my coffee. But I wanted to chat with you today about this idea of choosing a word for the year. Now, if you've read my book, The Selfish Year, or if you've heard about it, you know that it's based on me choosing the word selfish for 2020, which was a total wild ride, which I ended up writing a book about because it changed my whole life. It changed my whole business. I would not be here talking to you today if I had not chosen selfish for 2020. But I want to talk about why choosing a word is so great, and I think why it's better than New Year's resolutions. So, when I decided to choose selfish for 2020, I wasn't thinking like this is going to be an amazing year and this is a great word and it's going to, be full of awesome experiences. No, I was going into 2020 from a place of really one of the darkest places I've ever been in my life. And that word just kept bubbling up and I was like, "What? I can't choose that. I can't choose that word." But yeah, the universe was like, "Yeah, girl, you are." And I really took a leap of faith to choose that word. But here now at the end of 2025, I'm in a different place. You're in a different place. As I'm thinking about choosing my word for 2026, I'm really realizing that the word you choose is not so much about what you want to achieve in the year, and it's way deeper than that. If you think of New Year's resolutions, right? It's like, I want to lose weight. I want to go to the gym regularly. I want to eat healthy. I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to make more money. Like, it's all attached to an external outcome. And we know that like 90% of New Year's resolutions do not work. The majority of people, after just a few weeks, give up and go back to their old habits or their old ways, right? Because it's too big too soon. It's too big of a goal. It's overwhelming. You're trying to push yourself hard. And often that leads to self-sabotage because you're frying your nervous system. You are pushing too fast, and your brain and body are like, hell no, we're not doing that. We're going back to comfy land. and your subconscious runs your life. So if your subconscious feels like you are in danger, which dysregulation signals to your mind, then it is going to steer you right back to your old habits because the familiar is safety to your mind. And your mind doesn't care if the old familiar patterns feel gross to you or if they're chaotic. Your mind doesn't care about that. What your mind cares about is familiarity. So we know that these big New Year's resolutions don't work. That doesn't mean you can't achieve big, audacious goals. Of course you can, but you need to be strategic about it. But that's a conversation for another day, probably in the new year. Today, I want to talk to you about a different way to be intentional about 2026. And that is through choosing a word for the year. And when I chose selfish for 2020, here is what I discovered. Because selfish isn't attached to a goal, right? It wasn't attached to all of the things I actually did accomplish in that year. Moving countries, leaving a relationship, getting healthy, losing 55 pounds, changing my whole business, moving to Vancouver, all of those things that I achieved and accomplished were not connected to selfish because I had no fucking clue what I was going to do that year. The only goal I had was survival. So the word selfish was not connected to an outcome or a goal. But what it was connected to, what I didn't know at the time and what I can see now, because we know hindsight's 2020, what I see now is the word selfish was connected to who I was becoming. Who my soul was saying, girl, you need to become more selfish. I knew I had been stuck in selfless people pleasing, codependency for most of my life, and self-abandonment. And so I knew that I needed to become selfish, full of self, prioritizing myself in order to become somebody who could create the life of my dreams. You have to become who you need to be in order to get what you want. And so the word selfish was who I was becoming. I became a selfish woman in 2020. I learned what that meant, right? I redefined that word to mean not betraying myself, not abandoning myself, learning how to prioritize my needs, learning how to make decisions from connection to my soul, learning to listen to my soul and then take action. I had to become that selfish woman before I could create those bigger goals or design the life that worked for me or that I wanted. So choosing this word transformed my life that year because I was focused on my being. And a lot of us, most of us are conditioned to be doers. You are probably very good at doing. Most women are, right? We can do the kids, we can do the husband or the partner, we can do the household management, we can do the career, we can do the buying of the presents at Christmas. Like we are good at doing because we have to. We're very good at doing what needs to get done. We can get shit done. So you're probably very good at doing. But how are you at being? How are you at tuning into your soul? How are you at being still and listening, not to all the voices out there or the shoulds or the have tos or the whatever, but listening to your soul, the being. This is where the doing needs to come out of, because if the doing doesn't come out of the being, you're headed down a path of resentment, burnout, guilt, shame, overwhelm, exhaustion, low-level results because you're trying to do something. You are disconnected from your passion, from your why, from your inspiration, from your creativity. So, yeah, the doing is going to take care of itself when you prioritize the being. So I realized that this word for the year is actually your soul's calling of who you are becoming. Your soul has a deeper, bigger expression of you, your identity. And she is calling you to expand into this bigger version of yourself. And when you go on that adventure of expansion, self-expansion, and you co-create with life through your intention and your focus and your work on yourself, that's when the magic happens. So when you're thinking of a word for 2026, I want you to think about, who are you becoming next year? Who do you want to become? Do you want to become someone who is more peaceful? Do you want to become someone who is more allowing, receiving? Do you want to become more in touch with your feminine side of receiving and allowing? Do you want to become more powerful, more joyful, more determined, bold, courageous, fun? Like, who are you becoming next year? What is your soul calling you into? I really want you to take some time to meditate on that and journal about that and ask your soul to reveal what this next evolution is for you. Because when you land on a word that is connected to your becoming, it's not like you're out there trying to find it outside of yourself. You are actually just allowing your soul to reveal it. You are cooperating with yourself instead of blocking yourself and just trying to muscle through and push through. You are saying, no, who do I need to become in order to allow this next level of whatever it is that you want? Because you still get to want shit, right? We also get to want shit. And that's a great next step where you can take this word of becoming and then you can translate it into all your goals, into all of your dreams, into all of your desires, and start to weave it through everything like a thread, because every day will be seen through the lens of who you're becoming. And that creates this beautiful tapestry of a year. And it's not about the big goals, honestly. Like when I think back this year, 2025, I had a peak experience this year. My book was published this year in September. My first book was published. That's a peak experience, and that is something I have wanted and worked towards most of my life. So when I say that's a peak life experience, yeah, I'm not kidding. It's huge for me. But how long did that euphoria last? A couple days? A week? Of like, holy shit, I did it. It's here, you know? But that's a peak experience that doesn't last. And when we base our joy, our happiness, our contentment on these peak experiences, you're putting your joy on hold for something. And then when you get it, it's not going to last, because then you're going to be on to the next thing. Now I'm like, what book am I going to write next? Your life is happening in every moment right now. When you're present with your life, each day is your life. That's what matters, how you feel each day. So, your word for the year, when you bring intention and it's a being word and it's an expansive word and it is who you're becoming word, you will weave that into every single day. Imagine if you wanted more joy in your life and you chose joy for your word for 2026. Imagine if you were intentional about cultivating joy every day. That has nothing to do with a goal. That has nothing to do with a big dream. That is you making a decision to create more joy, to be more joyful every day, 365 days. Imagine what that will do. That is what changes your fucking life. When I chose selfish for 2020, every day I woke up and said, what do I need to do that is prioritizing me? Oh, I need to meditate. I need to journal. I need to get out into nature. I need to understand myself deeper. I need to study the deeper levels of healing that I know I need to do. And then I need to take that into my life each day and live it. And sometimes that looked like denying myself what I actually wanted, because it's not about, it's me all the time. Redefining selfish means when I do those things I know I need to do, exercise, take care of myself, right? Like live in devotion to myself. When I do those things, then I am guided from my inner GPS. And my inner GPS, my soul says, girl, it's time for you to get out there and connect with somebody. You need to go to the gym. You need to help this person. You need to support that person. And it's coming from my inner connection every single day. And over 365 days, I learned how to not abandon myself. So when you choose that word, realize that this is going to be the framework, the structure for everything you do. And you are going to become this expanded version of yourself that is going to start to allow you to bring in everything you want. It's different than what society wants us to think. Society culture tells us set your goal, set a smart goal, set your goal, and then be disciplined and work, 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 and you'll get it. Yes, okay, sure, that could work. But what we're learning is that it's also a recipe for not being very excited about your life, just going through the motions, and then kind of just not enjoying the journey. And the journey is what it's all about. When they say the joy is in the journey, it's really true. If you got everything you wanted right now, like easy peasy, you wouldn't enjoy it half as much as if you had to work your ass off for it. You wouldn't enjoy it half as much as if you had to do the deep soul transformative work in order to become the woman you need to be to have it. Women say to me all the time, I wish this was just easy. Why can't this just be easy? And I'm like, you wouldn't want it to be easy because easy is boring. Easy doesn't teach you anything. And easy will not make you a grateful person. Doing the hard work of becoming and transforming and reinventing and resurrecting all these old parts of you that have gone dormant, your wildness, your freedom, your creativity, your inspiration, your inner child, that transformation is the point. And life wants to co-create with you your transformation. And then what you get because of that is the icing on the cake. And yes, it's awesome. And yes, we love it, but it is the icing. It is not the whole cake. If your whole cake is made up of like, I'll be happy when I lose weight. I'll be happy when I find a partner. I'll be happy when I love myself. I'll be happy when I make more money. If that's your cake, welcome to a life of dissatisfaction, discontentment, depression, and anxiety, because that's not where your joy is going to be. That is not where your fulfillment is going to be. That's not where your happiness lies. Your cake needs to be made up of your connection to yourself and your ability to make every day an amazing day because you have decided it's going to be. And that doesn't mean everything's happening the way you want. It means I'm going to look at what's happening in my life as my teacher. I'm going to find the lesson and I'm going to be in relationship with myself in such a deep, profound, connected way that I'm present in my life every day. And every day I see magic. I see opportunities. I feel myself growing and expanding. Every day I'm being intentional about that word of who I'm becoming. That's the cake. And at the end of 2026, you're going to see the icing, the fun stuff, the peak experiences, the goals met, the achievements. You're going to see that as the icing and be like, hell yeah, celebrate that, be grateful for that. But you're going to see that the cake was what held up the icing, and the cake is what actually allowed you to have the icing. And it's so much sweeter. So every day of next year is your opportunity to create your cake through this one word that you are going to choose. So choose wisely if you decide to do that. I was meditating on this weekend about what is my word for the year. I hadn't landed on it yet. I didn't really even think about it until this weekend. So I did a meditation, I did some breath work and journaling, And I just put that signal out to the universe, like I'm ready for my word for 2026. Please reveal it to me. I'm ready, soul. Reveal my word. Who am I becoming next year? And as I was meditating, I was talking to my inner being as I do, my soul. And I have this way that I connect and communicate in relationship with my inner being, where it's almost like I can have this back and forth conversation from my mind to my soul. And so I was asking my soul, I was like, why is everything so hard right now? Everything feels challenging. Everything feels like pressure. Everything feels like it's all in my face. All my shit's in my face. And I know I've got to release this and shed this, but like, what is the point of all of this? And immediately I heard my soul say, girl, this is a test, but there is no pass or fail. And I'm like, okay, it's a test, but there's no pass or fail. So what's the fucking point of the test? And my soul said, illumination. And I was like, illumination. Of course. This is not about right or wrong, pass or fail. Life is not standing there with a whip saying, if you don't get this right, you're in trouble. No, it is for illumination. Everything you're going through is serving you through illuminating to you your path, your purpose, your choices. And so as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, yes, I am getting so much revelation and illumination as I sit with myself through difficult times and I allow myself to get curious instead of going to shame and judgment. I am getting so much insight into me. As I was taking that idea and then shifting it into what is this word I want for this year, I started to get some insight. And it's leading me to some really interesting and exciting ideas for next year of who I'm becoming, who I'm meant to become. What is this greater expansion for me and this greater identity that I'm going to be experiencing next year? So I'm excited about that. I still am not sure what my word's going to be, but I will share it once I have it with you. And I want to know what your word is too. So share it with me here. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, leave a comment or come over to YouTube and let's discuss it. It's a great place to hang out. Now, that being said, number one, if you get my book, The Selfish Year, it is a perfect companion for you for this work and for your life, of course. And a lot of you are choosing selfish for 2026 as your word, which is amazing. So grabbing my book would be a great companion for you to work through all of this for you as you move into 2026. And I teased on the last episode that I have something for you if you decide to choose selfish as your word for 2026. And I literally just got the final idea this morning as I was making my soup. I was like, okay, what is it? I've been dancing around all these ideas. Like, is it a Facebook group? Is it a Patreon community? Like, what is it? And then I was like, oh, duh, like YouTube. YouTube. I am going to do a YouTube video series all next year. Okay. All of 2026, I'm going to do a YouTube video series where I'm going to do one video a week and I'm going to give you a strategy, a selfish strategy for you. And this is for you if you're choosing selfish as your word for 2026 or not. It doesn't matter. But I want to create community on YouTube because it's a great comment section. It's a great way to have all the videos in one place and it's free. I might do some workshops as well throughout the year, but that's where it's starting. So first week of January 2026, I will drop the first video. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on those notifications so you don't miss anything. That is my commitment to you. I'm committing to you that I'm going to show up on YouTube every week for 2026, 52 weeks, and give you one video that is going to support you in your journey of becoming this bigger, expansive version of you. So what are you committing to? Are you committing to yourself? 100% all in on you in 2026 because the fire horse wants to take you on a wild ride, but you got to participate. If you don't, that wild ride is going to look a lot like the last 9 years because 2026 is the first year of a new 9-year cycle. So are you going to commit to yourself? Are you going to go all in on you next year? On you, not the doing, the being. Are you going to go all in on your expansion, your healing, your transformation, your becoming? Because I'm going all in on you. And if you go all in on you, you get 200%, my 100% and your 100%. But you've got to commit. You got to step up. You got to say yes. So think about that. I want you to go and journal about what your word is for 2026. Think about it in this idea of becoming. And as we close down this year, it's a great time to also reflect on your lessons that you're taking into 2026 and the shit you want to leave behind. Thanks for hanging out with me. Like I said, I want to see you on YouTube. Let's make this the best community ever because we are selfish women who are going for it, baby. I love you so much. I will see you next time. Bye.